Clara Bio. This is DJ Good with Velocity Lease Summit, and we're talking with our most recent past winner of Pub Pitch Crawl, and basically we wanted to see where Clara Bio has gone. The last time, which was in December, we had our Pub Pitch Crawl, was no COVID. Now we have COVID. And how the world has changed and what we do, and we're doing StreamYard here. So Jim, tell us a little bit about what's happened since winning. Hopefully we got some good. You got a whole sorts of good reactions out of that. But at the end of the day, how has your company pivoted, and what are you doing now in the middle of this pandemic?
Yeah, thanks, DJ. I mean, this is exactly where I thought we'd be, right? This was so predictable that we'd be in this space right now 6 months ago, except it's warmer. But the joking aside, it's been a significant journey since the pitch crawl, and lots and lots of really good things have happened. Since the pitch crawl, there's also been challenges. So let's start with kind of the hard stuff first, and then we can talk about some of the good stuff that's come out of this. So since the pitch crawl, we actually we just squeaked in a conference in February, and it was in San Diego. And it was at the conference, we basically announced a competition for our industry, and we called it the Future Exosome Leaders. We announced it, gave it out to the research community, and we're offering our company services as grant awards for this competition. And we had a good number of entries, and that competition actually just closed 2 weeks ago. And we've now announced the winners for that, and we have 3 researchers around the world, one in the US, one in Australia, one in Japan, who we're going to be supporting their research going forward, which is really exciting. And I think one of the interesting things is I have probably a different perspective than a lot of entrepreneurs, because I'm actually in biotech, and biotech it's just a different beast right now. It's responding differently. For us, we haven't actually had any work stop or cancel, none. But it has slowed. Especially in March when things started shutting down, and we all started socially isolating. And for us, as a small company and a spin out from the University of Kansas, one of the big activities we did was we do work in our production lab in Lawrence, but then we'd also do R&D at the KU Research Lab, and that was shut off in March completely. And so all of a sudden we lost more than half of our capacity to do different things. So there was about a month and a half where we weren't able to get much done. We also lost a key employee due to a health issue in March. And that was a big setback, because we had to figure out, well, how do we hire someone? How do we train them to do the work that we need them to do? Without being able to be with them face to face. And we've been, like everybody else, we've been figuring it out and working through it. And we now have a person who's replaced that individual in our lab, and she's been going strong for a month, and I've never met her. And so this is the new world we live in.
The crazy world that we live in these days now.
and the artifacts from historical things, like in our, we have an employee onboarding checklist. On the checklist is take the employee out to lunch for their first day. Well, I have to indefinitely delay that part of it, so she's not fully onboarded yet. But yeah, that's those have been some challenges that we've definitely had to figure out and work through. But we have, and things are starting to achieve a new, I don't know if normal is the right word, but a new equilibrium that kind of is known.
That keeps us all sane. That keeps us all sane and still have some interactions. So, yeah.
Yeah, and we've obviously been working remotely, and for most of the work we do, it remotely is fine. Again, we've been continuing sales, we've been continuing team interactions. And in fact, we've been expanding. So we, in March, we actually, it was for early April, we hired a chief development officer. So we have actually expanded our team, and we
Have you
brought
taken him
on.
out to lunch?
No,
Have you
not
taken
yet.
him out to lunch? Yeah.
And we haven't met face to face either since he was hired. But I didn't know him beforehand. So, but great guy. Worked at Marion Labs back in the day doing drug development. Worked at Pfizer. He's worked on the investment side as well. Great wealth of experience. Very well respected around the community. And just a great asset to our team. And what happened is when COVID hit, one of our customers has become an advisory board member, and they're a doctor out in California, and he came to us and he's like, "Hey, I've got this idea for your technology with the COVID pandemic," and we started talking about it, and it was like, the technology we've been building is the platform for therapeutic exosomes. We're trying to develop these future biotech solutions. And while there's a lot of work being done in the space in the early therapeutic development, there's nothing cleared by the FDA. And so we kind of looked around and said, we're not there yet, but we're not too far away. If we were to put the gas on the pedal and really go forward, we might be able to take the technology we're developing, being in a unique position with our purification platform, to actually deliver an end-use therapeutic that could have an impact during COVID. And so we've been looking around towards developing that, and that's what his name's Tom Kroll. Dr. Tom Kroll came on board to basically run that, because as an entrepreneur, I'm like, well, I'm still building the Clara Biotech company. I cannot do that and build a drug. I'm not that blinded.
The ADD, you have a little bit of ADD, but not a whole big
I have a little bit of self-recognition that maybe this is a bit too much even for me. So
I understand. Yes.
But it's great. He's been coming on board, coming up to speed. So for the last 2 months, he's been working full time on that. We finally sort of integrated the companies. We've got the plan together, and we've got so many opportunities and options on the table because of what's happening, and the values going up. The synergies are fantastic, and now we're kind of entering the realm of fundraising under COVID, because we got to get more money into to launch our kit product this summer, which I don't think was actually even on the announced at the Velocity competition, but we've been doing a lab service for the last year, and then in about January, we decided, we're in a position. We talked to our IP attorney, and we're like, we're in a position where we can actually sell our technology in the world and still be protected. So we actually decided that we would be launching a kit, the technology we've developed doing in-house under our sort of secret black box. We're going to pick that up and sell it to everybody who wants to use it. And so
who's the buyer of that? Who's the client in that scenario? Is it other labs? Is it pharmaceutical companies or?
Yeah, it's not your mom and dad. It's not your kids.
yeah. It's like I'm not coming out and buying Clara Bio's kit.
No, you're not. You'll never see Clara Biotech probably on a product, but we're selling to academic research labs, people doing core exosome research, and then we're developing a growing body of customers. More in the pilot phase right now, but again, everything slowed down around March, where we thought we'd be a bit farther along at this stage. But we're doing a number of pilots with some pretty big pharma companies.
Okay.
And so they're going to be customers to kind of the biopharma R&D space, industry R&D, research labs. It's kind of that exosome from research to clinical product, kind of in that gamut of companies that are in this space. Those will be our customers. And
what you're doing is not only applicable to humans, but also agriculture or So it doesn't just necessarily pertain to humans. You can talk about doing what you're doing with pigs and cows and everything else.
Absolutely. Okay. And again, we're trying to build the platform that everybody else can build their solutions on top of. And what happened really with the COVID-19 was we said, well, there's a lot of work to get our technology validated, regulatory approved, or not approved, but regulatory validated, to give people the confidence that, yes, this is the pathway that gets them a good solution to market. And it just seemed like, the best way to do that is to do it. And so that's where it's like, well, if we can develop this therapeutic, and it's not a cure for COVID-19. We're not doing anything actually with COVID-19. we are addressing the pneumonias. It's called the ARDS, acute respiratory distress symptoms, where you're ending up after COVID-19 with this damaged lungs tissues.
Okay.
So it doesn't heal. You lose lung capacity because your cells get saturated and die, and then you have essentially reduced lung capacity by up to maybe 20-30% for the rest of your life. And they don't really know enough about the disease to know what the long-term prognosis is. But there's other diseases that mimic these conditions that are not great, and there's no good solutions. So based on some research that's been done, we believe that this is actually a very viable solution to regenerate and restore that lung capacity. And we got to be careful about how we talk about it, because we can't make claims until the regulatory process has been done and it's been approved. But the signals look good, and we're moving forward on getting the data and the studies we need to be able to back up that position. But it looks good. The research looks good, and we're pretty confident about the outcome. And then what's so fantastic is we have to move the company forward to support the drug development, and we have to have the drug development move forward so that we're doing all the things that it needs to have in place, scalability and the manufacturing quality to support it. And then once that's done, we've got one of the first exosome therapeutics on the market. We've got a scaled, validated platform that we can then go to everybody else who wants to get into the space and say, hey, here's the blueprint. We've got the path figured out. We've got the technology figured out, and there's what you need to do. So that's what we're working towards.
What hurdles are you having to overcome, other than what we kind of all see going on with COVID, where you can't take somebody out to lunch when you onboard them? But what are the hurdles that maybe some of the viewers out there could help, or is there something that from a federal standpoint or a state standpoint that you're just kind of running into that's is there something out there that we can maybe as a community we can do to help, that not only helps your company but also helps researchers around the nation, around the world?
So for us, I think publicity is really important to what we're doing. We don't have a lot of money. We don't have a great PR strategy. Our marketing is minuscule. And so for me, just the more I can get people talking about us, the more people hear about us, getting involved, connecting us to their network, that would be really helpful. Because what we do is...
And real quick, just on that note, on the marketing, man, where do we find Clara Bio? Can you give us where you're are you on Facebook? I take it you're probably on Twitter.
We're
you
not
got a website?
We're not on Twitter. We're on
Twitter.
No, we're on LinkedIn, and we have a webpage. Okay,
tell us what those are, real quick.
So the webpage is clarabio.tech, TECH. So that's the webpage, new .tech domain. And then LinkedIn is Clara Biotech. You just search for the company, and we're there. Okay. There's only one, so you can find
just simple things like that. Just making sure everybody can find you, Jim. When they want to find you.
Yeah, come like it. Come connect with us. We do a lot of highlights of the research community and neat things happening in the exosome space. And so I was, I don't know if you guys saw, but the Startup Hustle guys in Kansas City, Matt DeCourcy and Matt Watson, they just released their top startups to watch in Kansas City, and we were in that list. And even got a special call out at the end for companies that were really excited to see what was going to happen because of COVID.
I follow Matt, and so the two Matts over the Hustle. So they're always entertaining, to say the least. And yeah, I think I saw that post. That blog post. So I think you're getting your name out here locally, but hopefully we can, and you're obviously doing some stuff around the nation, around the world to get your name out there. And I think, thank you for kind of dumbing down your message to somebody like me who doesn't necessarily play in your space at all. And, but kind of understands a little bit, just because of the COVID. So I appreciate that.
Even locally, there's 2 or 3 companies locally that are very interested in what we're doing and using some of our technology in their products. But we also made it into a prestigious accelerator that's going to be a big help for us. And it was funny because going through there was 2 rounds of interviews for this accelerator. I think they had like a 5 or 10% acceptance rate. And when we did the first round, it was we submitted our pitch information, and they had reviewers review it and then kind of give us feedback, and they have a graded scale and written feedback. And it was actually really helpful because they actually give you the feedback back. They're like, here's your score, here's your feedback, and then you made it or you didn't make it to the next round. And in the first round, there was like 4 or 5 industry people, and they're qualified people reviewing our stuff. And it was like the feedback was really good. It was like better than I expected. And one guy in the comments, he was like, "What they're doing is so cool. This is so neat. I want to get involved. I want to be an advisor. I want to invest." And but it was blinded, so I was like, I just had this.
You're like, who is the guy? Oh, I'm ready to. Who is the woman? I'm ready to.
I was like, so I got a weird request. I need to get an intro to this judge, and here's why. And I was like, he said he wants to meet. So we've met. He's getting involved, and that's exciting. And then I did a second round of interviews. It was more virtual conference, live pitch with feedback, and I think I also possibly will get a second investor out of that. So it's pretty exciting.
Hey. Well, I was going to say, you and I have known each other for a long time, and I've seen you grow. Hopefully, you've seen me grow a little bit, maybe not weight wise. I've actually lost a little weight, but at the end of the day, I think your message, you've grown as a CEO of a company, and those of us that have known it have been proud of to see you grow and see what you've done. And you're obviously way smarter than me in the biotech industry. That was one of the things I know we talked about every time you were very technical, and we got you to a point where you could dumb down the message to talk to the masses. And thank you for embracing that, so that we all can understand what you're talking about. Because it is neat stuff.
I always taught my family and friends, I was like, never tell my kids they're smart. Tell them they work hard.
Well, I think you work hard and you're smart. So there we go.
When I started, I am the least technical person. Like I came in learning the industry and the technology. I didn't know anything. So I actually am the non-technical side of it.
Yeah, but you're faking it well, man. You're faking it well. So no, Jim, we appreciate it. Is there anything else before we wrap this up? Kind of, we're coming up on the end. Anything else you want to kind of convey? What can we do to help you?
Say, it was a pleasure to be a part of the Velocity program. I love what you guys are doing out there. I love it was a great community resource, and the money is great. Just like those little things when you're an early stage company and trying to get things going, even when things are going well, they're still really hard. Nothing comes easy.
No. And it always takes a lot longer than you anticipated, right?
It does, of course. But I think it was a confidence boost for me, because I was pretty confident that as biotech, in something I'm doing so far removed from people's normal experiences, I didn't think I had any chance at all in winning Velocity Lead Summit. It's just it's so hard to connect what we do to people. And I've clearly done a better job of it, being able to win and moving forward, tell that story better. But I just, it was a great experience to be a part of. It was great to get the community involved, and it was good. It was good feedback and validation that I was able to, connect with the community and get them excited and get them believing in what we're doing too. So
well, you did. Yeah, you did. You did a wonderful job, as obviously as the winner. So, all right. Well, hey, Jim. With Clara Bio, we appreciate it, and we look forward to hearing more updates from you as your company evolves.
All right.
Thank you, Jim.
Good seeing you, DJ. Thanks. Bye.
Yeah.